Hey, I'm Ernesto, I make tech and breaks, and today we're gonna talk about 7 crucial mixing tips that will improve your mixes tenfold. I just thought to myself, what better way to share 10 years of music production experience and thousands of dollars in mixing classes than through a non-monetized YouTube video. A lot of people are gonna tell you, use your ears. And I hate that kind of advice. Because let's be honest, you don't have any ears. I don't have any ears. Nobody who has ever been a beginner has any ears. So how do you solve this? You use the spectrum analyzer. My favorite is the span spectrum analyzer. This one is free and you can find it linked down below. How is this gonna improve your mixes? Well, with the spectrum analyzer, what you're gonna do is check if your reference tracks are hitting at certain levels where your tracks are supposed to hit. So let's say the bass is hitting at -30. You know that your bass is supposed to be at -30. Let's say the hats are at -55. You know that your hats are supposed to be at -55. It's just an easy way to guide yourself in the beginning and find the right levels and be sure that you're covering all the correct frequencies. Point number 2 is knowing a little music theory. For those of you who haven't turned off the video, let me just tell you, it's not as hard as it seems. All you really need to do is know the scales, know the root note, the third and the fifth. Let's say you're doing a track in A minor. You have A, root note, C, third, E, the fifth. Anything you have in these 3 notes is gonna fit together, it's gonna be cohesive, and it's gonna be easy to mix. Now we move to step number 3. What's step number 3? How do you know which frequency is on each note? For this, you need the frequency chart. You better have this on your desktop at all times because it's extremely important. Let's go back to the previous example. Let's say you're doing a track in A minor. We have the bass in A, 55 Hertz. Then we'll have the kick in C. This way they won't clash, but they will fit together. I never recommend having the bass on top of the kick hitting on the same frequencies because it's gonna have a lot of problems in the mixing stage, especially in the mastering stage. With the frequency chart, you're gonna see what note goes with each frequency. What this is gonna help you do is tune your snares, tune your hats, and every element on the mix, even if it's a percussive one. If you have every element in your mix hitting on different frequencies, and they are all, or let's say 70% in the same note or scale, believe me, your mixing is gonna go up in level and it's just gonna become easier for you. Point number 4 is bus processing. What differentiates the people that have just started out from people who have a higher level in mixing is bus processing. When I started out, I had a lot of plugins on each of my tracks, but they were all separate and they were being pushed out together through an isotope mastering plugin. You know how it is. But the only way to have every element fit together is to divide them into buses. I usually have a kick and bass bus, I have a drum bus, I have an instrument bus, and an effects bus. And to this effects bus, I usually send my returns also. What's this gonna do? Even if you slap just an Ableton glue compressor on each of these, you're gonna have a more linear sound. The sounds that are loud are gonna be pushed down and the sounds that are low are gonna be pushed up. You're gonna be able to process all of this together. People usually have an EQ, a compressor or 2 compressors, and a limiter. You can also add some saturation in there. Believe me, when you start doing this, your mixing will improve. Now we have a really important one, mixing in mono. Mixing in mono is crucial. Most club systems and most large systems in malls, supermarkets, wherever are in mono. If you have really white elements in your track, this will create phase issues and they will disappear when your track is played in mono. That is why you need to continuously check that every element is still there when you are in mono. How can you check this? The easiest way is to use the utility in Ableton. If you're using Ableton, if you're using that other thing, I don't know. But you can just press mono and check what's going on. This moves us into the next point. The next point is these Avantone speakers right here. They are great for checking mixes and seeing if they translate. They are based on the old Audiotone speakers, the ones used to make Thriller. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna argue with Michael Jackson and Quincy Jones. What these speakers do is they don't have the highest end and they don't have the low end. So you only get the most important part of the track, which is the part that most systems actually represent. You can also use different kinds of headphones. You can use your iPhone, whatever you want, to make sure that your tracks translate. This last tip is very important. These people, they're not paying me, but I gotta say, this was crucial for me when I started mixing. The SonarWorks 4. The SonarWorks 4 analyzes your room and finds out which frequencies are higher or lower because of the reflections in your room. That was so technical right there, I gotta say. Anyways, so what happens is they do a corrective EQ that's gonna make the frequencies that get to your ear flat. Therefore, you'll be able to know what your track really sounds like and not what your track sounds like in your room. This is really great for aspiring producers because, let's face it, this thing is expensive and treating your room is extremely expensive. If you want me to do a video about room treatment, please leave it down below and I'll be sure to make it. But for now, you can buy SonarWorks, and even if you are in your college dorm room or anywhere else, you can use this to actually know what your track sounds like, and how it's gonna translate will improve drastically. They also have a headphone version, so you can use that if you want to. If you want to copy it, you can use my link. It's not an official link, but hey, whatever, man. I gotta eat. So those were my crucial mixing tips. I tried to put together a list of the tips that have made me improve exponentially. I hope these help you out, and if you feel like I left anything out, remember to leave it down below. Also, if you want me to do any kind of video, just leave it down there. I really appreciate all the support on my last video, and it's gonna push me to do more content for you. Remember to follow me on my social media, here, or here. Listen to my music, and if you catch me at a show, remember to tell me you're watching these videos. I'll appreciate it a lot. Thank you.